Right now, without thinking about it, you are breathing wrong, and it may have quietly changed the shape of your face. That sounds insane. Breathing is the one thing nobody has to learn. You did it before you had a name. You'll do it after your last thought. But there are two ways to do it, and your ancestors almost never used yours. To see it, we have to dig up some very old skulls. In the early 1900s, a dentist named Weston Price got obsessed with a question. Why were his patients' mouths falling apart? Cavities, crowding, crooked teeth. So he traveled the world, visiting people who still ate the old way. And everywhere he looked, he found the same shocking thing. Straight teeth, wide jaws, almost no cavities, in people who had never seen a dentist. Now compare that to a modern skull. Ours are narrower, more crowded, as if the face itself had shrunk. This isn't a few bad genes. It happened almost everywhere, almost at once. For 300,000 years, human jaws were wide and teeth were straight. Then, in a blink, they weren't. So what changed? The answer starts with something that sounds harmless. Soft food. Your jaw is a muscle-driven bone. It grows by being used. Chewing tough, raw, fibrous food is a workout. It pushes the jaw to grow wide and strong. Wide jaw means enough room. Enough room means straight teeth. Simple. Then agriculture arrived. Then cooking got better. Then food got soft. Bread, porridge, purees, smoothies, food that barely fights back. The jaw stopped getting its workout, so it stopped growing to full size. A smaller jaw, but the same number of teeth. You can guess what happens. Traffic jam. That's why so many of us needed braces. Braces are wonderful, but think about what they really are. A device that fixes a problem your ancestors simply never had. But the shrinking jaw did something worse than crowding your teeth. It squeezed the space at the back of your throat, your airway. A narrow airway makes breathing through your nose harder, especially at night. So the body improvises. It opens the emergency backup, the mouth. And here is where a harmless habit turns into a hidden machine working against you. Because your nose was never just a hole for air, it filters dust. It warms and humidifies the air. It even makes a gas, nitric oxide, produced in your sinuses every time you breathe in through your nose. That gas widens your blood vessels and helps your body absorb more oxygen. Breathe through your mouth and you skip all of it. Colder air, no filter, less oxygen uptake. In 2020, a journalist named James Nestor decided to prove it on himself. At Stanford, doctors plugged his nose completely. For 10 days. 10 days of breathing only through his mouth, exactly like millions of people sleep. His blood pressure climbed, his sleep collapsed, his snoring exploded. He went from barely snoring to snoring for hours every single night. Then they unplugged his nose, and within days, his body reset. One variable, nose versus mouth, that was the whole difference. Now scale that from 10 days to a whole childhood. A child who breathes through their mouth as they grow, grows differently. Doctors even have a name for the look. Long face syndrome. A longer, flatter face. A weaker chin. A more recessed jaw. The face literally grows down and back instead of forward and wide. The same face, two ways to grow, decided partly by how you breathe. So who's the villain here? There isn't one. And that's the strange part. Nobody set out to shrink your face. It's just the price of softness. Every convenience that made food easier also made your jaw lazier. Softer food, less chewing, smaller jaw, narrow airway, open mouth. A slow chain reaction running quietly across 100 generations. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. Some of it is reversible. The jaw is still a muscle. Muscles respond. Chew harder food. Breathe through your nose. Close your mouth at rest. It won't rebuild an adult skull, but it changes how your body works tonight. Because your body still remembers the wide jaw it was supposed to have. For 300,000 years, nobody thought about breathing. They just did it right. No braces, no snoring clinics, no mouth tape sold online. They didn't know a single thing about nitric oxide or airways. They just ate what fought back and breathed through their nose. We made our food soft, our jaws small, and our nights loud, and we called it progress. Then we bought devices to undo it. So tonight, when you lie down, notice one small thing. Is your mouth open or closed? Are you breathing through it or your nose? That tiny choice is a 300,000-year-old instinct quietly asking to come back. You were never taught how to breathe. You were just taught to forget.